we didn't know. We checked the two properties, and the first one we checked, the guy who was showing it to us, he told us this is 900 meters above the sea. So we were like, oh, okay, that's not gonna be for us. And then we came here, and we have checked close to, I think, 30 properties all in all, all in Slovakia.
40 in Slovakia. Okay. All above 1 hectare we have seen in Slovakia.
Yeah.
In 2017.
And yeah, this place was the first place. I think it was pretty much the last place we visited.
Yeah.
The first one where I thought this could be our future home, because I never felt what I felt here before. I don't know, and this wasn't like it is now. That this house was not there. This was as it is. This was a ruin. But still, this was the only place that really spoke to me, and later on my wife found out she likes it too.
Yeah, because I had such a vision, like I see the right place and I will fall in love in that place, something like butterflies in the stomach, oh, it's that one. But nothing, of course, like this happened, because I was running everywhere, checking and translating to my husband. He didn't speak this time any Slovak language, now he is much better. So yeah, so we really came to this, like, if Sepp Holzer manages in 1,500, we must manage in 900. So now we really start, since 2017, September, we started to build our place. We already have chosen it under these permaculture principles. We knew we're going to do permaculture project here, but I wasn't skilled enough to really put everything to the paper and visualize how it's going to look. I knew I need wind protection, I knew I need a lot of trees, but I had no idea what I have to do. And this time crossed my path Patricia, and I really finally learned what I have to do. So on this course we made our project with a group of other guys, and so far we really continue what we put on this project. So my project is there on the table. So first was like to build a zero zone, and this is that house. We built since August last year, so 1 year and 2 months.
Yeah, we wanted already to live here since April.
This was, I see, like absolutely nonsense, because we had snow till end of April, then came horrible period of rain, so no big car could come here, and like it was always struggle. So we couldn't start to build earlier this year because we finished like we had some skeleton done, we didn't have roof, it was just no side walls, it was just all covered with some stupid foil, which was by every wind was moved, and it got on my nerves already. We couldn't build the chimney because it was always minus. So really we started to continue to build around June. So we would like to be here about Christmas. I don't know if it's that possible.
Like to, yeah.
We would like to, like, everybody says it's not possible, but
yeah. We don't want it completely ready, just enough rooms to live in, kitchen done, bathroom done, one room done.
Yeah, so I think it's possible.
The roof is done.
Yeah, we basically, both of us, we work just on this project. We don't have any side jobs yet, because it's not possible. Our property has 5 hectares, and next 5 hectares we have in rent already, because people just prefer to give it to private or a small company as to big companies, big farms which are still here, and they have thousands of hectares, and they cannot really closely watch over the soil and trees and such a thing. So we understood, like, we wanted to be self-sustainable as possible.
Not 100%, just to a larger part.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, 1 car. We have our own well, own water. Heating in the house is on the wood. We have a big accumulation oven which heats water, and radiators in whole house. and often happens like if it's big wind or storms, we don't have any electricity for 1 or 2 days, so we have to be prepared for it. So that's why we have chosen it, because we have to from start to plan with these things. We plan to harvest rainwater, so it's still rain barrels there. They will be buried this week. We have
Hello?
how calls this kleanlage in English?
Septic.
No, septic. In English.
Yeah.
Septic
Septic
system.
Tank.
Okay, but like with plants and such, you know, you
First
clean
the
Bioplastics.
water
tank and then it runs
ourselves.
into a cleaning pond.
Yeah.
Bioplateau.
Yeah. So we really made solutions like all these
Read that.
place should be sustainable as possible and clean as possible. So we didn't want to damage it. I was living on cloud number 7. I don't want to damage beautiful nature, and they came with first bagger and they dig this hole for house, and I was completely destroyed, like what I have done here to beautiful meadow. And second shock came when because we understood like it's not possible to just leave what I produce. We still have small son and such. We understand we need to have some income. So that's why we started to plant lavender. So far, so good.
Hello?
Hello. So we destroy another beautiful meadow with healing plants, and we put lavender fields there. So it's not like everything I imagined like in fairy tale, but you have to do something before you start to really do some project. So we have as a basement this old, it was barn before. It was completely destroyed. It was just walls from stone here. This was first what we built here to really have some basement for building.
Yeah, some place to warm up, change, cook, eat.
Yeah. So and for future we plan it's going to be like a place for producing things. We don't produce much because we really concentrate to change first all place around. We planted about 200 trees and bushes, and we made this huge fence, which took us like 3 months. I did it myself only with horse. Is also like ecologic, only acacia poles, and they are not with beton. They are just
They are not treated or anything.
hardened with stones and such. So it was really hard job. It's 1.6 hectare. But I tell like what is concerning to permaculture, best, in my opinion, best permaculture prvok.
Thing or invention.
Element
Yeah.
is a fence. Like this fence divided us from this beautiful nature. But what grows around this fence already, it changes itself without me to doing anything.
Yeah, the birds sit on it, the birds shit the seeds down.
Yeah.
You don't cut the grass there, so everything can grow up there. And
Yeah.
sooner or later,
For the second time already in our tour.
Yeah, so it's like best for me, really, what we made so far.
Yeah, and also the fence, we have to put it here. We are in the wilderness, we have here constantly wild pigs, big deer. Everything would come here and destroy our crops. And also the cows which are herded around here, they once almost destroyed our lavender field when the fence wasn't completely done yet.
Yeah.
So we needed the fence just to keep the wildlife outside.
So we planted last year first lavender field. Lavender, everybody says like, oh, this is Mediterranean plant and such, but the lavender loves hates. It's best in Alps, in Portugal, around France, Pyrenees, and higher is better because it has better qualities in oils. So I was like, we took the risk, and maybe we have a highest lavender farm in Europe, because highest what I found so far is in Hawaii, is 1,700, but Hawaii is different as we are. But we just try. First winter we did good. We have a little bit small problems with one variety, which was probably very weak. And that's what people say, like, it's very cold here, that's why my lavender didn't survive. But I say it could be really problem about the variety which you have chosen, because you bought it probably in shop, and this variety was grown in Holland. There are completely different conditions. So that's what I want to do, to grow really like mountain lavender for people. And my main production, I want to do essential oils. And I have such a dream, like from this house one day I make small perfumery. I have seen something like this. We lived 6 years in Ireland, then I lived 7 years in Austria, and since I have seen this shop in Ireland, it become my dream to make perfume from local plants and everything what you grow yourself.
Do you touch the steel to make essential oil?
Yes, yes. Steel is already on the way.
Yes.
Yeah. So we will make.
How big is it?
275 liters so far. I could have bigger. There you feed like about 100 kilos of material inside.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
It's not so much, but we don't want to use just lavender. We want to try to get oil from many different things which also grow wild around here.
yeah, we have a very rich flora here. We have these juniperus trees, essential oil from these. It's very expensive and it's healing, and we have a lot of wild roses, and thymian is everywhere. It's a full meadows of thymian here everywhere. So Johanniskraut, ľubovník bodkovaný, neviem ako to po anglicky. Hypericum. Hypericum perforatum, áno. To by ste mali vedieť.
Yellow one.
And this plant, big plant which you see, áno, it doesn't look very nice, impressive. This is it's not perennial, it's 2 years.
Biennial.
Yeah, yeah.
First year it just starts to produce leaves and a tiny candle. The next year it has this huge 2.5-3 meter high candle.
Teraz vravíš o verbasku? Áno, verbasku.
They are completely covered in yellow flowers. You can just see a few remaining flowers on these there.
Yeah, we
And
started.
they make an amazing tea.
Yeah, we came here. There was just 2 plants. I said, "Oh my God, we have this. This is beautiful." And this year it started to grow everything, and we had suddenly 100 plants. And for next year we have seen everywhere small plants. We will have like thousands. So
Yeah, if you're interested to get some of these, just break off a tip of those. It's full of tiny seeds. Just how you transport is the question. The seeds will leak out everywhere.
yeah, it's,
But if
it's
you want to
very
take it home, just take a piece off.
it's very good plant, for lung infections. And what is very good to put it into the oil to make something like a mascara. And it's very good for infection in ears, so just drops in your ears and should be good. And but what is I found about that plant is like it grows only in worst environment that is dry, are stones, and we found ourselves like we are same. Like we go to very hard place. Like everybody say you are crazy. 900 there are just bears and nothing else. But we are so connected to this plant. Like I feel we have a connection. He can root in such a hard place, and I hope we can root sturdy here as well. So I don't know. Would you like to see our project?
Yeah, of course.
Maybe it's best to see the project, and then we can get tour. We have really beautiful days here. Sometimes, often it happens in autumn already, like down there in Zvolen and such. There is a cover of now Russian tuman. Mist of mist was everywhere, and we are here perfectly like on sun, and we have only 5 days in mist for whole year. So as you see, maybe here is this sun electrician, this solar field, yeah. So wind protection was very important, so that's why we planted, like we will have a big trees, pioneer trees, because it was completely flat. It was just only trees here, yeah, just the meadows everywhere. Everything was cut regularly. So what you see, just the small forest, and there is one, but it didn't cover as much. So also we had to change a little bit our entrance road, because our land wasn't like this. We had to change with our neighbors a little bit because of permaculture project. We knew we need completely different road, not to get really like a funnel from the road down there.
In case you want to show something.
Yeah, so thank you. Over. So as you see, we really have a few plants, few areas. Every area is different. For example, here is very bad area. Here is our
The old pond.
well. Yeah. So we wanted to make here some pond, and here is some, we call it like sour garden. There are the needle trees and berries which could grow here, and a lot of fruit trees, and really a lot of bushes. We have already planted like many aronias, rakitnik, typowe, no, and muchownik,
Amelanchier.
amelanchier, ano, and a lot of other berries, really. So here is our area 0. This will be our new house. Everywhere, basically, where are these trees, we planted as a forest garden. So,
Food forest.
Yeah, food forest. Food forest. So, it's just stop this now. If anybody wants coffee, who came later? Doesn't matter if we clean it anyway. So we have few buildings. So this is where we are now. So we call it summer kitchen. Next to it there will be Werkstatt. I have every German workshop, yeah. And behind it we will build a garage for our tractor and cars. And this we hopefully we still manage till winter to build a shelter for animals. So we have already here we built. It's not planned, but it's just trial this greenhouse, which is not done yet.
And also we have a small building for drying firewood. This is somewhere down here. It's not on the plan.
Yeah, here is firewood.
Okay, so it can just move.
We just moved it a little bit because there wasn't possible to get. It was a lot of rubbish. So my father said, let's put it here. So this is what we changed really on the go. So this is a north side. So that's why we plant a lot of trees here, but almost nothing here. Here are just small bushes because of course we want to have sun from the south. Yeah, and this is old house. This is a clay house. In future, we would like to renovate it. We don't know when, really. We also have already this septic, and here we have this cleaning pond. From, yeah. We will see it. Yeah, and here is very old building again.
I don't know, we will try.
It's cool.
Yes. Sorry.
It wasn't too, getting off.
I had in group girl, she has university, she studied all about gardens, so she helps us really a lot. So we really have what kind of trees, and I really put sticks everywhere, brought down and ordered the trees, and we plant them really what is on the plan. So with this, we are almost precise. Yeah, so here will be also some garden part, and this field what we will see behind is going to be whole lavender, but we start, this is good, like this is project about the next 20 years, but in any project is not written in which steps you're going to get first, how it will look in this first step. So we really decided to do first part of lavender field, and then we will grow hemp next year on the rest of the fields, and another healing plant.
Technical one.
It isn't forbidden? You don't have
No, you have more than 200 sorts which are from European Union. It's technical hemp, and they have a low part of THC. They're going to control it often. So you just buy seed from a certified company, and you have to tell like officials, like you're going to plant it this seed on the so much of Yeah, so it's really no problem. We don't know how it's going to be here, but we have chosen sort from Finland, Finola. So maybe we are in cooperation with this big farm, which is from socialistic time, and they will try to work with us. I had a very big luck because guy who came there like agronom, new guy, his diploma work in university was about hemp. So he was completely, okay, we're going to do it with you, we're going to help you, and they will see how it will work, and maybe they will grow it too. So we are just something like we're cooperating together, and we try the things. This year we had on 2 hectares chamomile and on 1 hectare calendula, but it came rain, whole April and May, rain, everything was rotten. I had a 1 calendula flower on 1 hectare. I don't know if I have to laugh or cry. So really, it was absolutely disaster this year. So yeah, and this year we really started okay. What we're going to do is soil is good, is not good. I did some my own tests, like 6.7 is not too bad. But we have seen really like it's not much organic matter there. So we bought stone
meal.
bone meal. Yeah, we bought it and we spread it everywhere. And of course I was on another perfect course how to about microbiology of the soil. Bola som úplne nadšená. So really we going to have like small laboratory, we will grow like microorganism and spread it everywhere.
That's the course I was talking that we have at the School of Permaculture, this specified course for soil building, and it's very nice.
I think it's absolutely essential for everybody who wants to do anything in his garden, because we have no idea what life is in the soil and how you have to improve it, or if you have problems, how to correct it. So this is really perfect. We had a guy who has 500 hectares and he's professional. He has university of agriculture and he never heard those things. He was absolutely mesmerized, and this should be essential to learn on permaculture courses. And it's such a small, tiny, very dangerous book, because everything what you can correct and your soil you can make yourself from your own products is incredible. You don't need any Monsanto, any other company.
And what is the book called?
It's
Microbiology in Hands of a Farmer.
not farmer, but well, anyway, of a farmer, gardener.
Gardener.
It's
Who-
a translation from Mexico. Jesus, someone.
Yeah, he's
wrote
a
it.
Mexican writer, and he did it for Mexican, really very simple and ordinary guys. And there are things like a rice.
Can you repeat? What is the name of the book?
Nie mam YouTube, but this is very hard to repeat because you have to learn.
No, the book name.
Book name Microbiology in Hands of Farmer. You can
Oh,
say.
gardener.
But this is only original in Mexican. And we had the luck, we have a guy here who speaks perfectly Spanish, and he translated to Slovakian. So it's only in Slovakian language in Spanish. But the guy, he speaks very good English, so maybe if you are interested,
We can do the course.
we can do
for
the
you.
course for you, and you can spread the word, because this is, I think, very important for people who want to work with soil.
And what is the name of the person who conducts this? Timotej Sabo. Okay.
Yeah, he also has permaculture courses. He is farmer himself, and he has, what I love about him, he is practical. Like, he is very guy with a lot of knowledges, but he does everything himself, and you could see the results. So it really works. And if you have just a little bit knowledge about chemistry, just little bit what you remember from school, and finally you understand how everything works inside. Okay, have you any questions here now? If anybody is thirsty, please serve yourself or coffee or whatever. We can start to do our tour. Okay? It's few pioneer trees, as you see, and we put in between already some nut trees, aronia, and any other trees. So as you see behind us, this is one of the oldest volcano in Middle Europe. So it's called Poljana. It's that volcano. So this volcano really influenced all the soil and everything possible here. If I dig anywhere, I find the crystals everywhere. Wow. I have many kinds of crystals, so we're starting to collecting them. Close us, this mountain is called Strieborna. So it means like a silvery hill. And there was mined the silver and gold and everything possible. So it has really interesting geology here, everything.
So you found the gold already?
No, but we are really targeting this, you know.
They are planning to.
In your drawing.
No, it's not. We found it later, like when we started to dig. Oh my God! Oh my God! And we are with my husband. He is absolutely into geology. When we met, actually, we went on island on some remote places, and we got with special tool, and we were digging for crystals. And we didn't know we find a place where we have crystals here. So we have really, yeah, this is just amazing. Yeah, this is part of it. It's like quartz, part of it. You could see, but it's not clear yet. Yeah, but it's many stages. This is a quartz.
And like crystals, like what you can find here? Like, what kind of crystals?
Zahnedano, teraz mám it's SeO2 crystals, but like amethyst, pink one. They have different colors. Different colors,
Like
but it's SeO2. The base is SeO2, like silicon.
Silicium.
Silicium. Yeah. Kremik. It's what is in your computer. Kremik.
Nas też tak robi.
For example, amethyst is this purple.
Amethyst we know.
Yeah. So amethyst, and there are many different colors. Every color has its own name, and there are there. So here, what you see is 2,000 lavender plants. It's two sorts. Where you see sticks, this is this first sort, which is weak. It's called Munster. It's also from England. It should be very hardy, and I don't know. But we got it from a different company, as I got this year, and they got a little bit problems. I had it on investigation in special research center, and they found they have 3 kinds of mushrooms, which is Fusaria, Botrytis. Yeah, fungi, and one more, Foma. Yeah, and I didn't know what to do with it, so I started to cut it. After every cut, I cleaned my tools and everything. I didn't want to spread it. I read horrible things about it, like I had to burn all my field and stuff like this. But what I found actually on this course is imbalance in the soil, in the plant. Yeah. So plant wasn't imbalanced, so that's why he got, maybe because we had this wet period, and this didn't make it perfectly. So now I have to make a balance, and according to this course, I know how to make a balance even with all mushrooms which I have here. So I have to do this. I don't need to do any chemicals. I have to work on it myself. This white thing is calcium. Yeah. Don't worry, it's all natural. I just give it like additional. Here we have a pH about 7, but it's just additional because lavender love alkaline soils. Yeah. So as you see, this first building, this is old stone building. Is our root cellar. So I want to take you there. You will see what our ancestors, how they knew how to build the buildings. Because it's exactly built in permacline, and it's perfect climate there, and it's so cleverly done. Like from this side you have space for hay, and from bottom side you have root cellar.
Do you cut the bushes of lavender for winter?
Yes, I already started. Yeah, already started from other sort. So it's best to cut lavender twice per year, because if you don't do it, it gets woody. And if it gets woody, its lifespan is maximally 10 years. And a very well-cared lavender bush could be like 15 up to 25 years old. So it's up to you how you care about it.
So when to cut it?
You have to cut it on spring when the first shoot starts to coming out, and spring and after harvest, because you could have 3 harvests. I had 3 harvests this year. First was end of June. It was very fast because the sun came suddenly. It was very hot after this cold period, and everything came to blossom very fast. So it was end of June. Second is in middle of August, and third was now. A very small yield, of course. First was best, second is like a 30% of this best, and the third is just few flowers, because my plants are very young. These plants, what you see, they are 1.5 years old. It's nothing. Lavender, as an old lavender or grown lavender adult, is 3 years old bush. So since then, you can really try to check your harvest and yield if it's okay or not.
And you are saying that you have to cut lavender twice a year.
Yeah.
First time when it is to cut?
It's
on the spring when it's coming?
Like it's coming because
how
lavender
big
is dormant plant. So it sleeps during winter. It looks horribly. It starts to wilt. It's like a silvery color. It looks like that. You see, oh, this is that. This is cannot make it anymore. But on spring, it starts really to shoot green shoots. And after they are like 3-4 centimeters big, you can trim the bush, because is coming to life, is getting green. But you never can cut it to woody part. You always have to be like minimally 1 centimeter in green part.
Mm-hmm. Just to cut the very end of the.
Yeah, but if you trim just little, then your bush becomes woody. So you really have to find the perfect cut when it's best.
Mm-hmm. And this is your first experience with lavender, or you had before?
I had lavender before. It was 30 bushes in our old place. First I had 5. Then, oh my God, I fell with this plant in love in Ireland. I lived in a city of Cork, and there is perfect English market, and everywhere such a smell, fresh fish from the sea. It's just a charming place. And I came there, I said, something is smelling here fantastically. I came there, I see lavender. I am from Tatra Mountains. I never seen lavender before. I was, oh my God, I love this plant. I bought everything possible from this lavender, and I started to surround myself. When I feel that smell, I cannot say I am somewhere else. So that's why I just thought this is best plant for me to grow, and we decided for it. And we really looked for bigger place just because of lavender.
And then you cut it for winter.
Yes.
Like
yes.
After third yield.
Yeah, after third yield, you just wait like about 2 weeks, and you can start to cut it. If you have a lot of plants, you need a lot of time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So before it freezes, you start to cut it. You start to trim it. You trim it into the round, because the first year it grows very funny. Like one is big, one is small, and this plant show you itself. Like, for example, you see here. Yeah. So this goes out. Yeah, mm-hmm. And you try to trim it into the
Can you
round.
show us?
Yes, but I have my scissors downstairs. Down there.
Should I?
You can see it. Yeah.
Would be good to
So,
see.
yeah. So, mala som to tu, kde v košiku. Tu som priniesla
Maybe
košiku
I
tým
try
domom.
to find it.
What is very interesting. Sorry, no. What is very interesting, you have to understand.
Where you were sitting.
For me, it was always interesting. I was on one course, and they said like, how you trim the trees. If you cut a tree like this side, same root in the soil is rotting, and it's same with every plant. If you cut it like into the round, your roots, they will round from bottom too. Yeah. So this is interesting. Like now you see how your roots they looking from here. Like they have one central root and some small side roots. So that's why it's easier when then flowers are growing. Bushes are beautiful and it's easier to cut them if it's in such a round. We do everything by hand. Nothing is done by machine. Just this year we did a cutting of the grass because I want to do it permaculture, of course, so animals should help me. So this everything will be trimmed by sheep because sheep hates lavender smell, hates its oils, and not only goats eats lavender. Nothing else likes lavender. They completely hate it. So I have seen it on fields in Portugal, and they do it normally. Perfectly works.
And you created air reservoir, no, not reservoir, airspace to keep it warm, yes?
No, it's not. It's just accidentally because here was some animal to dig it around because we have here mouse and
Okay.
Maulwurf,
It was
German. I don't know.
accident.
Yeah, it was accidental. So we use. I don't like foils much, I must say. But if you don't have immediately sheep here, you cannot manage wheat. First years are it's very important to weed everything precisely, because if it's weed between the bushes, then your lavender cannot grow perfectly. So I was whole summer long here. I had here woofers, guys, they were sitting here and moving from plant to plant, and they found is not interesting. And I knew it's going to be like, because this was a meadow before. It's a lot of grass, a lot of plants, so I knew we have to put this foil because otherwise I cannot manage it by hand. So only that's why next year is time we will remove. We have to put around all these bushes and trees some protection, and I can release the sheep. So this will be trimmed all by sheep. So now I show you, for example, this plant. So it shows you like, okay, if I want to make nice round, these are bottom. So I first cut like rounds, and I round it just like this. Like you do your hair. It's completely, I see it like that. I have already blister. I did like 5 or 6 rows, and yeah.
So the main idea to make a shape, not to...
Yeah, you have to make shape, because if you don't do it,
Then
can make it straight, but then you wouldn't have nice shape, first of all, and secondly, your woody parts will be maybe somewhere here, and the lavender grows like into the round naturally.
So if there are some branches which are not cut, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like this, for
you know
example.
why? Because this is still very young plant, and this comes up next year. You see, it's growing from everywhere, from the middle, everywhere.
Sure.
So this will be longer next year, and I make around again. So if this wouldn't get woody, and this is just very young sprouts. So I cut them nicely, and
in the springtime you cut to make it more to put more vitality into
yes,
it.
because if you don't cut it, it will have much less flowers. So this is a commercial growing of lavender if you want to get more of it. Because if you cut anything, a plant is in stress, and when it's in stress, it needs to blossom. It needs to so that's why it has more flowers, because of trimming. So this is very important part of the work. So anybody wants to try to cut?
I never cut it before. Be careful.
Yeah.
More.
I have one more question. Now in the autumn, how much I have to take off the lavender?
Minimally 1/3. If you never have done it before, take 1/3. You did.
It's okay.
But don't get too wooden part. Like above, leave like a 2 centimeters green, and
So spring and autumn cutting is always just above the wood.
above the wood, like
This is too young.
maximally. But if it's a very big plant and you trim it first time ever, don't take more than 1/3, because your plant could be dead.
And then I have a second question.
Yeah.
When you take the flowers, which is the best time? Because they open the...
Yeah, it's important what you want to do with this.
Yeah.
It is important. If you want to do some decorations and such, you want to have your flower longer on the stem. So take them before they opening and they blossoming. Yeah. If you see this live which came here, like a wild bees, because we don't have our own bees yet, they will come next spring. Like bees and such butterflies I never seen before, like a lila butterflies here. I never see. But also here is very rich flora, is a lot of plants. So these butterflies are here, yeah. But they were concentrated on this lavender. So bumblebees, it looks beautiful. So if you want to have it for yield for oils, they just should be about to open. Not opened completely, because they will lose these precious essential oils. It's also important when you harvest it. Like it's best is after morning dew. It needs to be already dry and very sunny day, and you cut it. And if you want to make oil immediately, you have to make oil from it, because most essence is done in the plant.
I can share some experience too in this regard.
Yeah.
I produce small stills to make essential oil at home, and it's made out of copper. And in order to make promo, I make a video, and I buy lavender, and it's dry. And out of 1 kg, I have got something like 4 milliliters of essential oil, or even less. And one client did the same, but out of her lavender, and out of maybe 300 grams, she has got 10 milliliters of essential oil. So the difference is like 5 times or even more.
Yeah. So it's really important. That's why you see in France, in Provence, they still really immediately on the field. They don't want to lose the time with transfer between field and the factory. They do it there, because the most essence is in plant, just if you picked it. So it's really important for what? This angustifolia you can use for food. Now it's becoming very popular. You can make syrup. For syrup, really, it's also good. Like you get fresh lavender, but you can make it from dry as well. Or vinegar. Vinegar you can do also from dry lavender. So you can use it, of course, for tea. You can make fresh for yourself, or you dry it. You can make tea. So it's so many possibilities. I am gastronom, and now it's in gastronomy is big boom about lavender flowers. They put it to sauces, to coffee, cakes. They make truffles, chocolate, and everything possible with it. So it has really a lot of possibilities, and that's what you want to do with this lavender. Depends how you have to store it, what you're going to do. So it's really good. If you make essential oils, this is very intensive work for a short period of time, but you don't need storage. Yeah, you just need for small bottles, because your yield is not so. You get few liters, for example, from 1 hectare you get 1 liter of oil, yeah, or 1.5.
It's huge amount.
So if anybody tells you, like, I have lavender for 10 milliliters for €5, you can laugh on it, because all these oils are thinned by coconut oils, palm oils and such. You rarely, I don't believe you ever bought real essential oil.
I can share some experience too.
Yeah.
I did rosemary essential oil, and I gave it to a person who used it for a long time, a lifetime, and he travels a lot. He buys rosemary oil in different shops, and once I gave him, he said, I never tried rosemary oil like this before.
Yeah, so a really small 10 milliliters, if you have about €20, you could say like this could be real. Yeah, and it's a very significant difference. So of course lavender has also healing properties, because it's not only aromatic herb, but it's also healing herb. So it's nowadays used like against stress, is for relaxation, is using in aromatherapy a lot. And if you buy really good quality essential oil, you don't need to buy 10 bottles, but it's only 1. You need just few drops, because everything if you use overuse is not good. It's also with lavender. I was like this, oh, lavender, I make tea now, I put into the tea a lot of lavender, and I had such a horrible headache. And then I understood like everything needs to be really balanced. So also use of lavender. Also oil, if you make to your diffuser, just a few drops, not much, because it's counterproductive.
So what about my work?
Yeah, it's fine. Show me that. This is good. I will cut a little bit more, because sometimes it shows you like this bottom and this one middle is high. So if it's not wood there, you can really go, you know.
Would you trust to do it by woofer?
Cutting lavender first year? No. I had here people really. I told them what they have to do, and anyway, you have to control them.
So we have to cut more heavily.
No, this is better because here is nothing outstanding, but this was a little bit outstanding, you know. So just keep the shape, but not to go to wood still, you know. So this is the really. This was quite good. This is good.
So the plants will get bigger and bigger.
Yes.
As they
Yes. Yes. Adult plant. Like this year we had a yield. This is 3,000 square meters, 4,000 square meters, 2,000 plants, 7 of such a baskets. Next year should be 5 times more, and next year it should be like from grown old lavender you get like about 6 such a bunches. Yeah, so it's really a lot of flowers.
And does it require good soil?
No, lavender is good with that. Like it's a really not. It could grow on stony, and it needs good drainage. So stone and sand is perfect for her. She doesn't need really organic matter, but what she needs is alkaline soil. It cannot grow in sour soils, which are on the forest. But the most important factor is sun. It needs to have sun. If it doesn't have sun, it wouldn't grow. Yeah, because it's Mediterranean plant. But as you see, we can grow it here too. I don't know how it's going to be next year. It's just 1 year. Yeah, I cannot say maybe this winter will all die. I cannot say.
But you will cover it or no?
No, this year not anymore. We managed last year to cover 1 row because came so horrible storm I couldn't get on field anymore. So I covered only 1 row, and with special this white textile.
Like this, but more
but
heavy.
White. It's white because it's much better. It absorbs sun and it gets warmer underneath. So it's good foil. People use it also to cover the trees, which are very sensitive and such. But I covered really 1 row, and I could see it on spring. This cover, they already had green shoots, and others were still dormant, sleeping. Yeah?
So you notice the difference?
I noticed the difference in this first row, but after 2 weeks they got equal. So I don't know if it's very good. And I say if it's not going like grow to here without any other help, if you could say, then it's no point to do it because you will overwork yourself. And I cannot do it like cover now. Like I have already 7,000 square meters. It's not possible to do it. I need to have like 20 people to do it. So.
And can you do something with these parts? To use it for something?
You can use it, of course.
For tea as well?
No, tea I wouldn't do because this is a little bit different. You know what is the perfect, like dried? It's perfect for if you start a fire starter. It's completely great because it has still oils, so it ignites your wood and it smells perfectly. Of course.
And for tea, it's not good?
For what?
For tea, it's not good?
I wouldn't use leaves for tea. What is, of course, trimming also could be done at spring when you trim. What you can do with your trim pieces is you basically make a new plants.
And with now you cannot do this the same, but you just need the
foil house.
Yeah,
you need perfect conditions for it. And young plants are very demanding of water. But if you overwater it, they die. If they don't have enough water, they die.
Yeah, they
They
need
don't
mist.
have enough of young plants. They don't need enough too much sun. So it's everything completely different.
You need mist.
I don't want to do it at winter. It's best to do it at spring, and you can grow your young seedlings, and you can plant them autumn, because autumn is best for lavender to plant. Don't do it at spring, because you never find the balance between watering. Too much, too little, and spring and autumn is best. It's like tree, because it's going dormant, like trees. It's going to sleeping time. So you plant it and you don't care about watering, and it will stabilize its root system. And the spring is already growing, and you don't need to water that plant anymore. Yeah, because the lavender could sustain like 6 months without any rain. Yeah, so it's not too bad for a time which is coming. That's why we calculated like it's we are highest mountain on south. It's nothing between us. We could see to Budapest from here. Yeah, so we have always sun. We have east sun morning. Like down there is 4 degrees and we have 15 already. Yeah, so we have first sun morning and we have till evening really, because we are high. So it's very good. This factor sun, it has really enough sun.
So you have surely clients, or you may have in your head that you will have some people buying your essential oils.
Everybody asking me, do you have a client? It's like I believe I will have a clients, of course, because I have to make a product. I want to make seedlings, because I believe like any lavender grown here must grow everywhere else. It's not like in Holland. I have really conditions here which are rough for this plant. So if it's sustained here, it needs to sustain everywhere else. So this is going to be my product as well. I love to make any other product, because we planted berries, many kinds of berries. So we will make jams with lavender and syrups, and oils is my main focus. So anybody else wants to cut something?
So there are lots of types of lavenders, and you decided to plant these 2 types, particularly because of the conditions you have here.
Well,
Or
you
you
could
like the
say,
smell, or you chose it because
yeah,
they have the most
you have a
essential
lavender
oils.
which is used only for cosmetics, because contains a completely different scale of chemicals, and this is, for example, English angustifolia or lekarska or officinalis. So it could be used also for food. Yeah, this has a better quality of oil, because it has variety, about 180 chemicals inside. And second, the lavender which I planted is lavender X intermedia, is crossed Hitore and angustifolia. And this grows like about 2 meters. There are big stems with like 7 centimeters flowers. It's beautiful, but it's mainly grown for cosmetics, because contains camphor, which is not in this angustifolia. So it's not used for food industry. But what is big difference? Angustifolia has some yield, but this lavandin, it calls, called lavandin, has many times bigger yield in oil. So you have much more of oil. So if you compare like on big fields, what is economically better is better to grow lavandin, because you have bigger yield, but you can sell it cheaper. So what you 100% take in shops is lavandin oil, even crossed with these palm oils and anything, not angustifolia, because this is very expensive. So it's also nice, beautiful smell and such, but it's completely different. And I have it on the second field down there. But I also have angustifolia and this. This lavender has like about 150 varieties. I have a 13 here. So
and they don't cross between each other?
This is interesting because it's very hard to really, if you have the conditions like normal conditions, to have lavender from seed. If you try in your, for example, you tried to do something with seeds, you cannot grow. Like from 100 seeds, if you grow one plant, you are perfect. Yeah. So it's very hard to grow with this plant. That's why from seeds. That's why it's much better really to trim them and to do seedlings yourself, because it's much easier. This is basically cloning. You get a clone of a mother plant. It's possible to do it with seeds. This is a high alchemy. They do lavender, which is called Vera. They call it like a mother plant of all lavender, and they get seeds from it, and they try to produce best essential oil ever from that. And it's really, it has such a variety, it's such complexity. It's so expensive and almost impossible to do it. But it's really my dream to do that. Like to do best quality essential oils, because higher you are, you can really produce better essential oil. And from lavandin is basically infertile. You don't have any seeds in lavandin, in this cross, so you can do just clones. That's why if you want to have a field and do it commercially, as I do, you need to have certified plants, and it's hard to get it. Like you cannot go to Obi or whatever to buy some plant because you don't know what you get. So you need to have really certified plant, and in Czech Republic was only guy able to do that for me, because others, they keep their secrets. They say they don't help anybody else, and not all are cooperative. So if you want to know anything about lavender, you have to find it yourself. So I am lucky, I speak English, so I bought hundreds of books from USA, and I really learned everything from there. I am with few farms in Facebook contact. If I have any troubles, I ask there, because here nobody wants to answer. So.
Yeah, we wanted to visit the food
Yeah,
storage.
let's go. Also this
Mystery was 300 years old. I said,
I will never do it again.
Can imagine. But you didn't have to protect it, or did you protect it from outside? No.
We should have
This
covered
is
it
much
better
stronger than
Yes,
China.
but moonwood, it has a few special qualities, and I see it's really true, because this wood is so dense you cannot put screw into it.
Well, you
Really?
can, but it's hard.
It's very hard. It's like very hard wood, and we got it from natural pine wood forest, which it's very interesting. It was possible, and of course everywhere we want to have a clay. So you see these strips in between are from clay. Inside is also clay plastering, and inside house is a accumulation oven and such. I will leave that house maybe on the end. Who wants to see it, you can come in and check.
This is the house in which you live right now?
We will live in that.
Currently live not on this property.
Okay.
Yeah. So everything was done by hand, not with machines. Really.
You can do it. Feel free to go in.
If anybody wants to go. And windows are made in Poland. No tylko z polskimi się da domówić.
Wooden ones?
Yes. They are from wood.
Very, very expensive. I tried to make some wooden ones, and it was like.
But my father, he was a lot of rubbish. My father said, we put it here. So he made it here.
When everything needs to go very fast.
Yeah.
But it was done fast.
Yeah.
You cannot complain.
My father is carpenter, so he said, like, we make dates today, so he started to do it. And sadly, he couldn't make a house because he's 70 years old. So he wasn't brave. I believe he wouldn't make it. He has painful everything, we wouldn't make it. So hej,
Dojebane kury.
No však to sú brojlere. No veď hej, a čo tu ešte robia? No mali sme ju už zabiť, ale nestíhame. Už 10 sme zabili. Hej.
Odkiaľ si, lebo si teraz tak rozprávala, jak z Popradu.
Však som z Popradu.
No, ja som z Popradu.
Hej, no vidíš.
Tak si úplne teraz povedala.
Hej, ja som Popračanka.
And they are really heavy ones, like 4 to 5
Ja som bola
kilos.
Uharová. Yeah, so these are our meat, chicken. They eat like pigs. They should be killed after 6 weeks, but we don't manage. We planted now lavender field, another, so we didn't manage to kill them. So they eat more and more, and they become aggressive. I come inside, and if they have nothing to eat, they started to eat me, you know. I said, "Ah!" Before I was like, "Oh, poor birds, we have to kill them." And when they started to peck me, you go all. Okay, then we have our layers. Yeah, this is like we got inspired by Jeff Lawson. He says a lot about this chicken tractor. So we really move them every week, like all around. You can go in. There's no electricity
Currently.
But we have to go there anyway. So. Hej, sorry. Hej, to sú pre old, no Beneci sú sedia, ale daj. A tie moje musia
Hej, dla mnie? Jako?
He was got inspired by
From Pinterest. I wanted it mobile because I don't want destroyed grass. So we made everything mobile.
Yeah, so here you have light area. And this bottom you can all take out and you clean it. You don't need to go inside the coop.
Pull the floor out, you tip it over and it's clean. Yeah?
And here you have storage for food and such. Yeah, this is his best job.
Yeah,
for sure.
Nice job.
Just a second.
I just wanted to take a picture. I'm sorry.
Go back.
So we have like 10 boxes every day here. So this chicken will be done. We got the border collie and she really tries to deal with them, but at night you could see sometimes they dig around and this chicken will be already dead. And we have also many birds of prey. They're nesting on this big maple as well. So I think we wouldn't have chicken. So we made it also like inspired by Pinterest. These are pipes inside our rods.
Steel rods, yeah. So it's kind of stable.
And this is well. It's not like for look perfect, but
it's the first one.
It
would
works.
do it a bit differently now, but it works.
Yeah, and it got bent because our son he was climbing on that. So we have still rest of moon wood if anybody wants to build a house. So naturally here everywhere. So I know we will walk on it, but yeah, it will survive.
You will what? You
Time.
Time. Okay. Time. Okay.
Time. Okay, so this is our like forest which we have here naturally. So this is already our.
It's part of your land.
It's part of our land. Our land ends like this slope there on the end, and as you see, this like it goes all down there. What is green already is rye. We guys did it for us for this year, but actually all this field we have now it's kind of ours because half of it we have in land, also with land up to the. So we have their forest. Is 1 hectare not used yet. It wasn't do anything like about 30-40 years on that. So you walk on it like on carpet, is many layers of grass, many bushes and mushrooms. Just enjoy these mushrooms. Let's go.
Give me the map.
I don't know, but I think
Sheep, they love really young grass and not big, you know. And as you see, they will absolutely enjoy these bushes, yeah? They are everywhere here. So goats, they will enjoy these bushes. Let's walk a little bit further and you will really enjoy the look. Yeah, Yes, this is our full-time job. Because what you see, it was completely empty. These two old houses and cellars. And we have to work. During summer we start at 8 and we finish at 9 on 10 o'clock. And I'm so crazy because I got this craziness from my profession. Because if you start, I cannot stop. You know.
What was your profession?
I am hotel manager. So I am used to work even 24 hours if it's necessary, without 5 weeks of off. We had first off after 1 year yesterday. Because my father had anniversary celebration. So he was
Who's looking for your boy when you are occupied?
he's working with us. Our son is working with us. This is why I have done it. I want him to understand what is manual work. And as I was closed in offices about more than 20 years, I absolutely hate it. I want for him different life. To understand the nature, to understand how things are going and how are they done. Because in my opinion, farmer is most clever man. Because as a farmer you have to know everything. Economic, you have to be engineer, you have to be geolog and meteorolog and everything. So
that at least you need to have an interest in it, not just planting potato and then drink water multi-time.
no. That's why we have chosen permaculture. Because we want more variety, we want to bring a life here. Life is here without us anyway, but no, here not. Here is just fine.
There was one.
It could be like a but birch mushroom. Yes, it's not so clear. But you see here, the city of Vysinach, it's always fine.
Yes.
The sea is normally clear, but today it's a little bit foggy.
We should go like under this flower. There's some